I am a sucker for political drama, and the biggest political drama so far of Trump's second term has just happened. I am talking about Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens calling for Trump to be removed from office. Now, why are they doing this, in case you have been living under a rock? Well, first, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out patreon.com/whatwhyhow to support the channel. This all started to happen, of course, with Trump's support for Israel, which these people don't support anymore. The podcast, right, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, including Dave Smith, and of course, Nick Fuentes, are highly critical of Israel, so they don't like the fact that Trump supports Israel. So when Trump threatened to destroy Iranian civilization, and it seemed like the reason he was doing it was to benefit Israel, of course these people jumped the train. They're no longer on the Trump train.
But right around January 4th, it became clear that maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And what's inside that book are limits on human behavior.
And this is when you realize Trump is evil. It is because he is a completely hollow and wicked person.
So it is with great horror and pain that I have to very aggressively oppose this new megalomaniacal creature. Give me control of your nations, or I will start vaporizing your capitals and then your entire country. Or like Cobra Commander. If you do not hand over complete control to me, unconditional surrender, I will destroy your entire civilization. Hail Cobra.
Now, of course, it has been 11 years of this. 11 years Trump has been threatening Iran, saying he loves Israel, and using similar insane rhetoric.
Take a look at the deal he's making with Iran. He makes that deal, Israel maybe won't exist very long. It's a disaster, and we have to protect Israel. But Iran is the biggest sponsor of terrorism around the world, and we will work to dismantle that reach. Believe me, believe me. Third, at the very least, we must enforce the terms of the previous deal to hold Iran totally accountable, and we will enforce it like you've never seen a contract enforced before, folks. Believe me.
But apparently this is the last straw. So you know what? I don't want to be too critical of them. Obviously they're not going to watch this video, but their fans might. So I just want to say thank you for finally seeing it. It's a couple years too late, but whatever. Trump, of course, attacked them back, saying they were losers, nobody watches them, they're insane, wackos, which, you know, it's a little bit true. So this clearly is the start of a fissure in the Trump coalition between the establishment, which back in 2016 used to be Jeb Bush but is now Donald Trump, and the more populist, libertarian, nationalist, Christian conservative right, which is, of course, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and Nick Fuentes.
Say one more thing. One more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing. When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how to cow eat the cabbage. Do one more thing. You should be kissing my ass. But instead, you shit all over me and rub it in.
These people get millions of views, they're way more influential than they deserve to be, but how much influence do they have over regular people? Because obviously their videos and podcasts are online, so how far does their message reach? Well, it does reach millions of people, but so far it seems the MAGA base is sticking with Trump. It seems like 30% of people still support the Trump actions, and Trump's approval rating is pretty low. Most of the country does not support what Trump is doing, including people who are ostensibly in the middle of the aisle, which is not good for Trump come these midterms. But let's look beyond the midterms to the 2028 primary, because that will determine the future of the Trump movement and, of course, the United States of America. And the reason this is an issue is because Trump is not and he can't run for president again in 2028. He jokes about it all the time. Democrats are really scared that he will try. but he's not going to do it. So instead, it's going to go to J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, somebody else to take up the mantle of the Trump movement. The thing is, though, I don't think any of them can do it because of these divides that were solidified just in the past week. Marco Rubio is a establishment character at this point. He supports Israel, he gets the pro-Israel donors behind him, and he supports all these aggressive actions abroad against the foes of Israel. So I don't think people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Dave Smith, Alex Jones, I don't think they're going to support Marco Rubio. Now, J.D. Vance does seem to be more isolationist than Marco Rubio.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today.
meeting, you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania.
He's critical of aid to Ukraine. There was some article saying that he wasn't fully behind the decision to attack Iran, but you know what? It is his vice presidency, and Trump is the president, so I do think he's going to be stuck with this. And of course, Nick Fuentes hates J.D. Vance as a pro-Israel person. So maybe J.D. Vance will turn against Israel, maybe he will secure enough support from the pro-Israel / I don't care about Israel coalition to get support as the Republican nominee for president. Or maybe he won't, because I don't know if he can. I don't know if he has the personality to do so, and I don't know who else could do it. And also, I don't know who these populist people would support either. Now, there has been some talk about Tucker Carlson himself running for president. I think Nick Fuentes might even support that a little bit. Candace Owens might support it, Alex Jones might support it, and Dave Smith, maybe he could get behind that. But I think Tucker Carlson has himself said that he wants to not be president. He doesn't want the presidency at all. I don't think he'd run. He might run, and if he does so, he might even win the nomination of the Republican Party, but I don't see it. So what are we left with? We're left with the Republican Party looking very divided. Nobody, it seems, can unite Trump's coalition. Even Trump can't do it at this point, which is why these divides are happening. There is a schism forming on the right side of the aisle in American politics. If we were a European country, the Republican Party would have split by now. Ironically, back in 2016, Trump was in the same position as these radical right-wing people. Trump was the populist who was overthrowing the establishment status quo. He was making fun of Jeb Bush right to his face. And now he's the establishment, which is very ironic. But of course, his positions have not actually changed, right? People who are so surprised that Trump is attacking Iran, maybe you should pay attention a little bit more, because Trump has been talking about this forever. He's always supported Israel. He has always wanted to bomb the shit out of Iran. In fact, during his first term, he nearly did so. He nearly bombed the domestic territory of Iran, but he backed out at the last moment because he's crazy. And people were saying, I think it was, Sargon of Akkad said, well, if you guys saw this coming, how come you didn't predict it? I predicted it. A lot of other people predicted it. Professor Zhang of Predictive History, he predicted it. So I don't know why it's such a surprise to these people that Trump is following through on something he's said that he's going to do forever. Trump is a aggressive nationalist. He's not an isolationist. He was just pretending to be to get your support. If he were president in 2001, he would have nuked Iraq. Not just invaded Iraq, he would have nuked it. Could you imagine if Trump was president during 9/11? What do you think, honestly? Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, if you are watching this, which you're not, but if you were, what do you think he would have done on 9/11? You think he would have acted any differently than George Bush? He would have gone after Afghanistan, and he would have said, Saddam Hussein he's gotta go, he's a bad dude, we gotta take him out. He would have done the same exact thing as George Bush. The only difference is, he can now say that he didn't support it because it's unpopular. Back then, we don't even have to pretend. What am I talking about? He supported the Iraq War. He himself supported it back then. So this shouldn't be a surprise. To give the Republicans a lower standard, it does seem like the Democrats are seeing similar divides. They're just not in office at this time. Back in 2024, there was a very similar divide going on between Kamala Harris and the left-wing, Israel-critical, anti-Israel people, right? Now, in the 2028 Democratic primary, the leaders seem to be positioning themselves anti- or pro-Israel. You have Gavin Newsom, governor of California. It seems he's switching back and forth. I don't even know what he's trying to do. Maybe he's just messing it up. Then there's Ro Khanna, who seems to be positioning himself as more anti-Israel progressive.
My position is that we should not be providing them any aid, and we should not be providing them any offensive weapons, which is Bernie Sanders' bill in the Senate.
AOC is more Israel critical, even though she doesn't get even though she does get criticism for not being Israel critical enough. There's Gretchen Whitmer, who I imagine is pretty moderate on that issue. Pete Buttigieg, I imagine, is pretty moderate. And of course, Kamala Harris.
I'm thinking about it.
Might be jumping back into the race for whatever reason. I guess she caught a sniff of power and she can't resist it now, even though she should just run for governor of California or congresswoman from California if she wants political office. But she, of course, positioned herself as not very Israel critical, a little bit critical of Israel, but not very. And so these divides are appearing on the left as well, matching the divides between moderates and progressives. Ironically, Bernie Sanders didn't even win the 2016 Democratic primary, so the moderates of today are the same moderates from 10 years ago. So the 2028 presidential election is going to be very interesting. If we had 4 parties in this country, maybe it wouldn't be as interesting, but we only have 2 major parties, so they're going to have to battle for the souls of each party. Who do I think is going to win? At this point, unfortunately, I think Gavin Newsom might be the most likely Democrat to win the nomination. Now, of course, there's all sorts of issues. His wife seems to be very blasé about the fact that she accidentally killed her own sister. I don't know why she's talking about that. I guess if you do that, you just have to get ahead of it. And of course, Gavin Newsom is the head of a state that nobody likes, California. So I don't know. I think those are serious vulnerabilities come the 2028 primary. I think Ro Khanna looks pretty good from my POV, if you guys care about that. For the Republicans, again, I don't know who can unite the party. Maybe it's just going to be forever divided. I think Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley might take another go at it, by the way, so maybe one of them. But again, they are pro-Israel. Maybe there is going to be 2 major third-party bids for the presidency in 2028. Back in 2016, there were 2 major ones, Kerry Johnson and Jill Stein.
The license to drive? You know, I'd like to see some competency exhibited by people before they drive.
2020 was not so major. 2024 seems like nobody really cared about third parties then. 2028 might be another major year for the Libertarian and the Green Party. I imagine a lot of... if Gavin Newsom wins the Democratic nomination, I think a lot of leftist people will vote for the Green Party candidate, no matter who it is. Probably going to be Jill Stein at this point. And if a pro-Israel person like Marco Rubio or Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley wins the Republican nomination in 2028, I think a lot of the populist right-wing people like we're talking about, like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, they might support a libertarian third-party candidate. Nick Fuentes might not support anybody. So these are going to be the major divides come the 2028 presidential election, and I don't know if there's any solution to them. So if I were in charge of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, I would be biting my nails at this point. But that's enough for today. This is kind of more like a rambly video. I just really like the fact that Alex Jones hates Donald Trump now. Well, actually, you know what? He says there should be a truce between them and that he'll support Republicans for the midterms. But I really wish they would keep fighting because finally Alex Jones and I agree about something. Same thing with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and I. But that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to support the channel and keep it alive, you can do so on patreon.com/whatwhyhow. For $1 a month, you can get early access to future videos. Thanks to those who already support me, who are on the screen now, and adios.